Balcones' first ever year-round bourbon was an inspiration. It all had to work together. A blend of carefully selected ingredients, Texas-sized pot stills, and creative people determined to find the absolute best way to usher a new whiskey along. When you discover how it pairs with a meaningful moment, suddenly the feeling of drinking great whiskey becomes a whole lot more.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Whisky Neat, spirited conversations with interesting people. I am your host, Christopher Hart. Now, today I sit down with Mark Normand. Mark Normand just had a comedy special come out called Out to Lunch on YouTube. Don't Be Yourself was a special before that. Mark Normand is a fantastic comedian, real punchy, quick one-liners. Great guy, from what I can tell. And Zahed Devji. Zahed was on last week. He's another local Houston comic. He's featuring for Mark last weekend at the Houston Improv. And we just hang out for a minute, have some whiskey, try some few things. I brought some old bottles that are fun. And check out his tour dates at marknormand.com. And of course, Rogan's in town this week. Go check out improvtx.com/Houston for your tickets. Couldn't be a bigger fan of comedy. So this is really cool to be able to sit down with Mark Normand. Ad reads, as you know, Balcones is always one of our biggest sponsors. But Whisky Neat is also seeing the return of one of our favorite sponsors, and that is Glass Rev Imports. Glass Rev Imports and Amroot Distilleries crafts one of the most award-winning Indian single malts to the exact same standards of Scotch. Amroot Fusion also received the double gold blind and scored a jaw-dropping 96 points by the judges at the Proof Awards. Amroot single malt whiskey is widely available across America and can be found almost everywhere in Texas. Go out and get a bottle today. Check out Mark Normand's podcast, Tuesdays with Stories. It's him and Joe List, another fantastic comedian. And without further ado, Mark Normand and Zahed Devji. Cheers. Mark.
Ha! Hey.
I'd shake your hand, but I don't know if we should. Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Hey, just fist me.
Okay, right off the bat. Here we go.
Yes.
That joke's a little underdeveloped. I'm just kidding.
Never mind.
Yeah, well, never mind.
Oh, boy.
Zahed, thanks for coming back, man.
Of course,
I hear
man.
you guys killed it last night at the Improv.
Hot show, hot crowd. The first show was good. The second show was lights out, as they say. Although I got yelled at by a lady, but, that's par for the anal.
Par for well, especially in her line of work, from what I hear. She was an actress, yeah?
Yeah.
She was an actress.
Well, that's
An
one way to put
exotic
it.
actress.
An exotic actress.
Nice.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. I know I'm glad to be on the road again, as things have been kind of nuts.
Sure, yeah. I hope people don't hate me for it, but I have a big nut, and I got to pay those bills, so I got to get out there.
Sure. You're not the first. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been crazy. Rogan's coming this week. Mm-hmm. He'll be in Houston at the Improv Friday. So I think people are ready to get out there.
Yeah. And you throw the mask on, you do your part, but I try to assume it's all coming on me. I'm on a plane, I'm yelling at an audience. I hope if I get sick, I'm fine with that, but I don't want to get anyone else sick.
Sure. You. I think you've said this before, road comics. I mean, you guys are basically like walking rats.
Sewer rats.
Yeah, you guys, balls of disease. So.
Yeah. As a kid, though, didn't you just play in dirt and lick weird shit? Remember licking 9 volts? I mean, I feel like I grew up before the internet, so it was just slingshots and going down by the river. I don't know why it turned
poking
into
dead
Huck
bodies
Finn.
and
It was Huck Finn, and like, let me see your dick, I'll show you mine. That was childhood.
You lick it. So I figured you guys had a good night. You might as well celebrate and start off with a drink.
Oh yeah, sounds
so
brutal.
I know Mark's a famous whiskey guy. You talk about it quite a bit. You're a big fan of the brown water.
Yeah, I like the whiskey, I like the Scotch, I like the Bourbon.
Scotch.
Oh yeah.
Oof, really?
Love Scotch. The peatier the better.
Oh
Dude,
my gosh!
you showed me about this last time. I was losing my mind with this.
We talked about it last week.
This
so
peat.
the
Finding
Pete
out
Lafroy,
what,
Ardbeg, Lagavulin, those are my favorites. If you're a bourbon fan, I don't know how much bourbon you'd like, but
Not too much.
Yeah, we'll take it light.
We'll just kill the hair of the jizz there.
Hair of the jizz.
Yeah, bourbon. This is one of the best.
Oh my God.
E.H. Taylor 100 proof. Can't go wrong here.
So this is bourbon?
This is bourbon.
What's the
Okay.
difference between
Bourbon and Scotch?
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Well, besides regionality, it has to do with ingredients, right? Difference between a cake or a difference between a carrot cake and a good cake, right?
Right.
So bourbon's made with corn and wheat and different grains, whereas
Gotcha.
Scotch is almost, well, not always, but single malt Scotch is usually 100% malted barley. So it's just ingredients.
Gotcha.
Either way, it's delicious.
I heard that Scotch isn't actually from Scotland. They claim that, but it's not true.
Oh yeah.
I heard it was invented in China.
Really?
Yes.
That might be the case. I know how you're big on fun facts.
I love a fun
I
fact.
tried to find a few.
Dolphins kill for fun. Fun fact.
Do they
Kill
really?
for fun?
Yeah.
Wow. That's again, I've said this before, but white people, you guys have all the dolphin facts.
We love dolphins.
I've never heard a black person ever tell me a fact about a dolphin. It's never happened. A Chinese person never told me a fact about a dolphin. I've only gotten dolphin facts from white people.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
So,
we
just
like dolphins.
Putting it out there. They're always like, the genitals are the same. Really? I'm like, just fuck it. You
Yeah.
want to fuck it?
Well, our dream is to just go to SeaWorld and pet one. That's every white girl I grew up with had dolphins all over her trapper keeper.
Lisa Frank made him famous. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you're a 90. You're a result of the 90s. 36,
Sure.
so you grew up right in the heart of
Oh, yeah.
of the Spice Girls and
Yeah.
Will Smith and that
Good
whole
times.
thing.
1994, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, all in 1 year.
Same thing happened in 1999. There was a changing of the guard of directors, and that's where you got Fight Club and Matrix and
Oh, yeah. I've talked about that with a
what's
friend
the
of
guy's
mine.
name that does all the quirky, fun, awesome stuff with Willem Dafoe with hotels?
Will,
you're right on the tip of
Will-
my tongue.
not Will
Wes
Anderson.
Anderson. Wes Anderson. Same thing. Wes Anderson got his break in
I love that guy.
1999. So there was like this changing of the guards. All these other like classic example. Sip lightly. Sip lightly.
Okay, this is
Well, last time we did it was
Doozy.
knocking him back.
Well, you
No,
were
it's-
knocking him back. You were knocking him back. You're not supposed to knock him
You're not
back.
supposed to.
this is bourbon.
He's like, let it rest in your mouth.
Yeah.
The
So
guy's
last night,
never
what were you
done that.
drinking? Scotch.
Tequila. I started on tequila because Bert Kreischer told me it gives you no hangover. So
That's
I just
such a
switched
bullshit.
over.
Bert would say. It all has to do with hydration. It has nothing to do with it being poorly
I feel
made.
like I want to drink with you everywhere I go because you're like a drink caddy.
Well, avoid shots and avoid sugar. So the
know.
cocktails will give you a hangover.
Yeah.
But clean alcohol is clean alcohol, and all tequila, bourbon, rum, it's distilled, so it's clean as clean gets. You're not going to get a hangover unless you're dehydrated and your body's aching. And
Look at my body. That's how my body runs.
Yeah, we're hurting.
Drink some water. You went through 5 bottles on Tuesday.
They always say drink water. Water doesn't cure it.
No. You drink water beforehand. So
that's
if
like
you're
saying
drinking water while you're drinking booze, it's
right.
you stave off.
it's too hard to live. I mean, I have the STD now. I'm trying to get rid of it. You know, I forgot to wear the condom already.
So now it's ibuprofen and hydration.
All right.
Maybe
All
some
right.
greasy food or.
Oh, greasy food. That's I do a hot coffee with cold beverage together. Ice cold hot, like an icy hot for your throat.
So you just have to
Fried
taste the
chicken.
whiskey. You don't have to drink it all.
Gotcha,
but once
gotcha.
your mouth acclimates
That was
to that,
good.
you can't. If you're a Blanton's fan, Colonel H. Taylor, same distillery,
That is good.
really
was
good, really good bourbon. Hard to find. I think they drop for like $60, but if you really, it's hard to get. So
Which one was this
they
one?
trade for like $150 a bottle.
That's a nice bottle too.
Yeah, Bald & Bond,
This
E.H.
is
Taylor.
a nice. That's a good label.
Yeah, so fun fact for you, when using modern detergent, clothes are equally clean whether you use warm or cold water. Did you know that?
No, but I
Most people always go hot water.
Yeah,
that
you
just
feel
wastes-
you feel like there's more with
Sure,
hot.
cleanliness.
Yeah, Seinfeld. Wasn't Seinfeld had that great dry cleaning joke?
I don't know, text him real quick.
The way. Nice. Remember the dry? He's like dry.
Oh, dry's not
wet.
cleaning.
Oh,
Yeah,
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 That's
yeah.
where it's coming from.
Right. He's like, you ever get something off with your fingernail? That's dry clean.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I love that. But yeah, you automatically think, no one takes a cold shower and feels as good as when you take a hot shower.
No,
Take a hot shower.
no.
Like I got some stuff off.
Yeah.
So,
So what tequila were you drinking last night?
I don't know, whatever the club gave me.
I think we went.
Don Julio or Patron or some.
Middle shelf Espolon, whatever
Okay.
that middle one is.
Sure.
It's got to be clear, they say. And I drank that George Clooney tequila once, and that is not. I don't think it's good stuff. I don't want to shit on the Clune, but I get the runs.
The Clune.
I get the worst hangover, and it's clear, and I'm drinking water, and I still get bad hang.
So the clear thing's also an old wives' tale.
Ah!
It's just a barrel. It's just a barrel's given. It's just charcoal.
It's
This is
racist
amazing.
propaganda.
It's
these
racist
brown
propaganda.
liquids.
These brown liquids, they're bullshit. I didn't mean to look at Zahid when I said that. I apologize.
No, that's what I pee brown liquids. That wasn't funny. Why did I say that?
You shit brown liquid.
Here you go.
For those who can see it off camera, we were getting the cork out of our old bong pipe over here.
Yeah, this is
This is a sipper, right?
That's a sipper.
Okay, I
now
like a
you can
sipper.
you can mix it, but just sip it. Your mouth will get used to the heat. It's 100 proof. So it's a little bit stronger than what you're used to.
yeah. This
Good
is
heat.
stronger, but it feels nice.
Oh, it tastes fantastic too. Do you want some, Brandon?
Yeah, he does.
So what's the order for tonight? You've got is Zahid Youngblood or Youngblood Zahid, and then
Youngblood is
Zahid?
hosting. He's featuring.
Sure, and then the man himself.
Yeah, Chappelle's dropping in. He's going to do 20 minutes of preaching. And
Sure,
then,
exactly
also-
8 minutes and
Yeah.
something seconds.
Right.
What what's next on the tour dates?
Well, you can't really get the cream of the crop now. Like, this is a great gig, this Houston Improv, and I did Addison a couple weeks ago, which is in Dallas. But next week is Greenville, North Carolina or South?
It doesn't
Give
matter.
that a-
They're
it
feels like a
equally-
north.
Feels like a north. The North will rise
Got the
again.
north vibe.
And so I've never been to Greenville. I don't know anything about. Is it South?
Ah,
The
fuck.
South will rise.
I hate
again.
I hate losing a 50-50.
It hurts.
It's so it's just even. Anyways,
I hear you. Even Steven, but look up Comedy Zone because there is a Greenville in both Carolinas, so it's a real cunt. But that should be an interesting gig. And I'm getting a lot of guys with camouflage baseball hats going, I'm coming out, man. So, hey, who knows? I don't discrim.
Charlotte, North Carolina for Comedy Zone.
No. Greenville. There's one there, too. This is how bad I am with
might be like-
my
it might be like the
information.
Greensboro?
Maybe that's it.
But
Maybe
d-
it's Comedy Zone. You got a Comedy Zone?
Greenville, South Carolina.
All right, there you go. You were right.
We got
Okay,
it.
just
We got
checking.
it. Off camera, Mike. That's young Jamie over there.
Jamie. Oh, just like Rogan.
No,
You
that's
got a
Brandon.
JMO. Oh.
Well, yeah, he's just like Rogan. We had
people just imagine a guy whose arms are too big, breaking computer keyboard.
Shab couldn't remember, we couldn't remember Kathy Bates' name, and he was pulling it up, and it felt very Rogan-esque to have Callan and Shab arguing over something, and then Brandon off camera pulling it up. So, yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be clear. That's all bullshit. Just
Okay, good to
Yeah,
know
yeah.
because I like the whisk, but I always want to go clear for the hang.
yeah, it's just extremely. It's a diuretic. It's going to drain you of all your precious
Yeah.
nutrients and make you do things you regret.
Oh, yeah.
It's all of it. That's any alcohol at that point for me.
But how do we not have a cure? I mean, I've covered this in my act, but it's just like we got a cure for this, we got a cure for that. Can't we get I've tried all the chasers, all the pills, all the clean you outs and whatnots, and the liquids and the powders. Nothing works.
Nothing works.
I need to get a hangover cure when I wake up, and just the only thing that works for me is Adderall. You got a bad hangover,
Yeah,
just
but
take an Adderall, and you're.
Yeah, but the problem with that is like by the time like 5 p.m. hits, you're like,
Oh yeah,
you're just like a squirrel.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Just all wound up.
That's how I am. Adderall is like, it's good, but you got to have things to do.
Right.
You don't have things to do. You're just like a crazy person.
It's
for
true.
Like walking around, everyone's like,
But
what's your deal? And
didn't
you're like,
Rogan
"Ah."
say it's like meth or something?
is.
It's basically meth.
Well, it's clear meth, so there's no hangover.
start taking apart the VCR,
And that's
shit.
why you're the man in charge. That's why you're the feature actor.
Yeah, it's bad news, but it's also fun.
Yeah, it is fun, especially at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, I know you've talked about being cooped up in New York and being crammed in there. Two things. Have you thought about moving to LA or moving out of the city? Because I know you've talked about, you said you feel like you're in a shoebox at times. You and
I
the
am
old
in a
lady are
shoebox.
beating each other.
Yeah, it's getting tight in there. The walls are closing in, but I love the city. You know, you sacrifice the space for the city. I mean, if I go, me and my gal, we did a couple Airbnbs around town just so we didn't go insane. And we got to like upstate New York. We went to Jersey, went to here, Connecticut. And, the birds are chirping and there's plenty of square footage, but I'm miserable all day. I'm bored out of my mind. So I'd rather trade the small space for the city.
For the activity.
Yes, I like
the
to
activity.
see people around. I don't want to talk to them. There's a guy shitting in his hands. There's a pigeon with AIDS. I like New York, but I lose it.
Don't you want that on a shirt?
Yeah.
pigeon with AIDS?
Pigeon with AIDS. Just that whole rant in a Yeah, the guy
That sounds like if Randy Newman wrote a song for New York instead of L.A.
Right.
Imagine pitching that to a T-shirt place.
New York.
I love Randy Newman.
Guy shitting in his
great.
hand and a rat with AIDS or a bird with AIDS. It's my only thing is pulling my hair out, man. I've got 4 kids and there's not much left for me to pull out.
4 kids?
Wow.
Yeah,
You
so-
have 4 kids. You're a year younger than me. You have 4 kids.
Wow.
I gotta leave the set. This is crazy.
I'm a homeowner too.
What? No homeowner.
No, it was fun for like a week. I didn't have to do anything, and then I hate
Rattles.
everybody. I
Yeah,
hate my
yeah.
wife. I hate my kids. And nowadays you definitely don't act on it because it'll come out.
Wow, I'm
it'll
pro-
end up on Twitter.
I'm pro-choice. I don't know how you do it. 4 kids.
I don't have aspirations for ever having
Maybe
kids?
one day, but I'd like to be financially stable. I'd like to have an apartment bigger than a sardine
Shoebox?
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Where do you live in New York? The area.
West Village.
West Village.
Give your address. Just give your
That's a
address.
Yeah.
good. That's a good village.
Great village. I've always wanted to live there. It's like Bob Dylan and Dylan
Yeah.
Thomas and another guy named Dylan.
The Greenwich.
Yes, the Greenwich Village. But
Good village.
they know the neighborhood's great and they rape you on the rent
Yeah.
and the size.
Fun fact: Charles Darwin and Abraham Lincoln. Charles Darwin have the exact same birthday, same year, same day, same everything. Yeah,
I heard a great joke from Matthew Broussard that.
really want to meet that guy.
Oh, dude, he wants to do the show. I talked to him. He really wants to do it.
Since you came on, anyone I've asked, that guy's amazing. That guy's so funny.
Yeah, I've had he's great. He
Funny
had this.
guy.
He had this great joke where I think it's maybe a new joke where he goes, I think if you like ask, I forgot how the setup is, which is the important part of a joke. So I'm glad I got that down. But he goes, if you ask, I think it was a Abraham Lincoln quote where he goes, guys, I wore that hat one time. I love that. It's so simple. It's so
And somehow
funny.
it became his whole thing.
I love that.
All right.
What fun fact about Lincoln? He has a
Gay.
bodyguard. He might be gay. He slept in the same bed as some dude, but I think that was normal back then. But he had a bodyguard, and he said he had 3 dreams over 3 nights about getting assassinated. Then
No way.
the bodyguard said, "Don't go to the theater tonight. I got a bad feeling." And he told him goodbye, and he always said goodnight. And it was the first time he said goodbye, and he died.
And that was the night he died.
Yeah. That's why you can't go to
Holy
the theater.
So he was in on it. That's what we would call nowadays an inside. He was regretting it and said, "Please don't go. I actually don't want you to die." And
Interesting.
Wow.
tipped
that
his
is,
hat, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you like Four Roses?
I think so.
This is a
Can
cask
I,
strength.
where's the
big-
dump?
Yeah, right
dump thing?
in the. Let's see here.
Or am I drinking out of it?
Yeah, you can.
I think I'm.
pours are too
I think
big.
I'm. I
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
I'm
it's okay. I tell you what. Then why don't
Am
we
I
do this?
drinking out of the
Why don't we
dump
make this your
thing?
glass? You can be bougie as fuck, and this will be the dump glass.
The old dump
Yeah.
cup.
Give us
Thanks.
that then. Yeah, that'll be great. So that'll be the dump glass.
Dumps like a cup.
This is an old pick we did for the
put it in
for my
here?
festival. A little self.
Oh, you did that.
Self promotion. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you even
So-
look like a Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
photo
That's what we were going for.
Yeah.
So and then let me get Zawhead covered here. Yeah, got to take Brandon care of.
Oh, get
So-
a whiff of that.
I know.
fucking, turpentine.
There's some of these
Take it light.
bottles and stuff
Take
where
sips.
where I've smelled it and it'll
It
it's
really
like wasabi.
But-
yes, wasabi.
By segment 2, you'll be like, "This smells amazing." You just gotta get the gears going.
Also, it kind of took the rust off of last night a little
It
bit.
helps.
Yeah, yeah.
does.
Is your back still hurting you?
Yeah, but it's just sitting down,
Tobacco.
getting up.
You
It's
like
not
cigars?
not crazy. I do like smoking.
Back hurts from carrying the show. All right.
Or that woman out. This is a real tobacco bomb to me. It's good. It tastes like. It's gonna sound bad. It's a compliment. Tastes
Which one
like
is-
cigarettes.
Ah, great.
Which one is this? I taste like cigarettes.
Like my ex.
I used to fuck Mark.
It's this one here.
Oh,
The
cool.
one with my face
Four
on the side of
Roses.
it. What? How long have you you guys talking wedding bells?
Good stuff.
You should do hot ones, by the way. Have you talked?
Oh, I would love to do hot ones.
yeah.
You'd
that
be
would
great on that.
I would love it.
You would be really
I
great,
love
yeah.
spicy food.
Your
you
reaction
really?
would be right
Oh,
off
yeah.
the charts.
You like spicy food?
Oh, I love spicy. Yeah.
I'm Indian, so.
Are you really?
Well,
I thought you were Mexican.
well, I put the mustache on.
That's actually why. No.
Yeah, I love
Ooh, this is heavy duty.
So just take it light. Just take little sips. It's all about you just tasting it, kind of lubing it going. You don't have to swallow right away. That's usually let your mouth adjust. So that's what they say.
Oh, it's the I have really
Yeah.
bad acid indigestion.
If you
Like, I have
leave
a
it in your
bad-
mouth long enough,
Oh, you gotta do
you'll
that.
start salivating, and it'll help when you swallow.
It's like you're saying like it's like adding water to the whiskey, except your mouth is providing it.
Punish your mouth first, and then it'll also get your mouth used to drinking something so high proof. This is a little high. This is 56.8%, so it's a.
I imagine this is what you
more
say.
alcohol in this than this.
I imagine this is what you say when you fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Just leave it in the mouth a
leave
little
it in
bit.
your mouth.
Yeah.
Salivate.
Yep. Stop chewing it.
This will ruin a breathalyzer. Like this is fire.
Oh yeah,
Fire water.
You're not supposed to breathalyze for 20 minutes. You know that?
We talked about this last night.
20 minutes
Remember?
after you drink.
About when it hits and if someone.
Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How much proof is this? 'Cause I-
So this is 100 proof, so 50% alcohol.
okay.
This is 56.8, so this is
Gotcha.
113 and change.
Gotcha.
So yes, if you get pulled over on a scooter, right? Wait 20 minutes before blowing, otherwise you're gonna go straight to jail because it's gonna make it.
Yeah.
It's gonna ruin it.
Off the
Speaking of
charts.
scooters, remember the Hawaii
Oh.
horrific
The rainfall.
dude?
That
one
was
of the,
bananas.
One of the.
We did the Hawaii Comedy Festival in Honolulu before Corona.
I didn't realize y'all did that together.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember seeing your posts.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a
shared
great time.
Great time, and we rented scooters on the last day, or my last day, and we went to Pearl Harbor. But the ride there, we got hit by a monsoon, so we're just like, just fucking pour. You can't even see in front
It
of you.
hurts. It
Horrifying.
hurts when
Yeah.
you're
And
going
it was
like
hitting your head.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
you're going like 40 miles an hour. You get like raindrops hitting your face, and you're just like,
Yeah,
you feel like you got divorced. It just everything is
right.
Getting
everything is-
exfoliated.
dude. And then we met up. Like I lost you guys at one point.
Yeah, we had to pull over.
and I caught up with you, and then we went to the beach, and it had felt like we had gone through the whole laundry cycle because we went from
Right,
like
right.
rinse to dry. Like you're like dry in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, like my ex.
But-
But
In 40 minutes. Hey, at
pretty
that
good.
point, it's her fault.
yeah, then we jumped off that rock. Then we had dinner. And then we went to Pearl Harbor. It was a beautiful day.
Dude, it's crazy.
Beautiful day, yeah.
We were talking about how it was a great last hurrah comedy wise.
Totally.
Before the whole
Before
AIDS
the whole
kicked in.
world,
Yeah.
the bad AIDS. We talked about this a little bit on the way here, but I wanted to get your perspective of now that you, and I know you've got a piece of this as well,
Mm-hmm.
you are in comedy, you start selling tickets, you start meeting bigger names, you start becoming friends with Jerry Seinfeld.
Acquaintance.
Yeah. You guys have hung out.
do that.
You guys,
I also have to bring it
Yeah.
you always have to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You
Can never take too much.
does that, you would think that it would relax your anxiety a little bit, but does it add to it, the anxiety of like, should I text him, should I not text him?
Yes, of
the
course.
last 3 times we texted, it was me that initiated the text. It's a weird.
It's the same. I bring this up all the time, but it's the same as like a beautiful woman or a girl you're like really into. If you just go up and you have a few beers, you just go up and talk to somebody that you're into, it goes fine. But if you contemplate and stew in it, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with a guy like Seinfeld, where I'm like, oh, delete, rewrite. That's not funny enough. But am I being too funny? Am I being too on? If you just put the fucking thing out there, it's fine. And that's how you got to live your life.
And Bert talked about that with Rogan. He said for a long time he just would forget that we're actually like friends. Like
You
it's
forget.
weird that we're friends. Is there still anyone that you see pretty regularly that you're, I wouldn't say starstruck, but nervous around?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm nervous around this guy.
Brandon?
Yeah, I'm nervous around everybody. But
You're a nervous guy, just normally.
just a nervous, neurotic guy. Does he hate me? Was that a stupid thing to say?
I didn't realize that until like everyone has that like whole like we all have anxiety right now. I have like a really bad nail biting problem.
Wow.
And I did-
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know.
You're like Amistad.
Once,
Been clawing away
Your
at the boat.
fingers, yeah.
by the way, Amistad was if you don't know, it was a show where this guy just bit his nails on a boat.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Right.
DeVito, right? Danny DeVito. Yeah, I saw that one.
DeVito and
Yeah.
Amistad would
Yeah,
have been the
Rumham.
funniest
Yeah,
fucking movie. But I had some small white little lady that I was trying to bang. Told me that one time. She's like, you have anxiety, and I was like, I don't have anxiety. Blah.
Yeah.
She's like, look at your hands.
She's like, you always smoke cigarettes and you don't have any nails. And then
Everybody copes a different way.
and the first time I was like, shit. Because you don't want to be the thing that everyone is, and everyone's
Right.
doing the whole like.
Yeah, I don't want
but
any
then some
weaknesses,
people
yeah.
actually have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people
Sure.
are like coming out, they're like, I'm gay. I'm like, you're not gay.
Hey.
Right.
Well, they're just trying to do
Hey,
it.
We've
to-
all liked to. We've all seen some things, right?
I still think that some people just want to get on whatever the trend is.
I completely
I
agree.
just want to hop on the boat. It could be anxiety,
molested.
it's anything.
Yeah, anything.
You just
Well, I
want to
think
be I'm also here.
right,
You're just,
right.
You're
Well,
just,
we also reward victimhood.
Yeah.
It's an identifier, right? People like to associate with the fact that I am this.
Yes.
This defines me.
Yes.
And I always
And-
want to stay away from it. I was like, I
Same.
don't have anxiety.
Always.
I'm not gay. I'm
I was
not
diagnosed
black.
with AD&D or ADHD as a kid. I
Yeah.
refused to take Ritalin. I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And it turns out I was fine. Like,
Yeah.
We do it with everything. Like, we'll take a 23andMe and be like, come on, Native American, please.
No, man. 3% black?
Yeah, I'll
yes.
take it. Yes. Ashkenazi, whatever that means. Great overalls. But yeah, so we all want it. It's fun. Gives you a little hook. But it's funny because when I was a kid, you hid all that shit. And now you get it out quickly.
Yes.
Like, please. I'm working on a bit about this.
I literally just texted Andrew this. I was like, when I grew up, you were gay, and you everyone resented you for not coming out.
Right. Right. Now you're like, I'm gay. You're like 2 years old. Like, hey.
You're excited.
I'm better than you. I'm gay. You know?
There's I do think there, and let me be clear. I do think that there are
No,
people
that's your
who,
skin color. It's clear.
yeah, absolutely. I do think there are people who are gay, but I also think there's a spectrum of you growing up during your formative years, you don't know where you belong, right?
Right, right.
I mean, we all went through like a skateboarding phase,
Oh, yeah.
or a band phase,
Sure.
right?
Blackface phase. We all did it. Come on.
100%.
Barely.
100%. I played the bass for a little bit, and then that defines you. You're like, oh, you're a bass player, you know?
Yeah.
You're all looking for just that thing that makes you who you are instead of
Totally.
just being who you are.
At what point did you become Dilbert? Pull up a picture of
I
Dilbert.
don't
You look
look-
exactly like Dilbert.
I don't look like Dilbert.
If he,
Pull
well,
up Dilbert
if he
on
had a
the-
beard. If he had a beard.
and see-through skin. Oh, I guess he's. That don't look like Dilbert.
You're right. You're right. Nah, I take it all back.
I mean, it's
Sorry.
not too far. It's not. I mean,
I had a conversation with a friend that I hadn't talked to in a couple of months during quarantine, and I think with comedy, I don't know if you go through this, and we all go through it at some point, depending on whatever field you work in. But I was starting to think that in comedy, a lot of my relationships with people had been based off of comedy, and I didn't have a lot of sincerity in my relationships.
or substance beyond that.
So when you're talking about like Seinfeld, even like working with you, like any headliner, it's always come down to, I was like, in the past, you're always like, oh, I'm in, and you're like in work comedy mode.
Sure,
so then this
sure.
like human aspect gets taken out. And then for the first time, I was like, just be a guy. Just
be a guy.
And just be sincere with intentions. And
And they're having thoughts too. They're having anxiety and
Sure.
insecurities as well. But we all think it's just us. Yeah, we're all human.
like, yeah, exactly. Like try to get the people part better. And then
Yes.
the rest will always fall into place.
I completely agree.
And that kind of came to me during the old teen.
But we're guarded. We're guarded. Because,
Yeah.
we've been hurt, or our parents are shitty, or
Totally.
you got finger fucked, or whatever it is. So you're always kind of like, can I open up?
Sure.
I had a
Yeah.
guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he's a pretty
Say his name.
pretty famous
It's like six
comic.
people that listen to this.
What's it rhyme with? Cosby.
yeah. And he said, we were cool. We've always hung out, but I've never gotten any like emotional connection with you. And I was
Sure.
in my head, I was like, yeah, you're welcome. Like, I thought I was trying to be, I'm not going to put my baggage on you.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than the guy who goes too far the other way, where he's
Gotcha.
like, this sucks, my dad's gay, whatever.
hate
And you're
that.
like,
100%
all right,
agreed.
just say hello.
The
you know?
the overshare.
The
Yeah, the
overshare.
overshare. As soon as you meet them, they
a
talk
real
about how
thing.
they've got I've got arthritis and
Yes.
I
I can't
was
get it up.
molested or like they give
Right.
you so much details to their life. I'm like, hey man, can we just be friends first before
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Find
gotta,
out
it's
about
gotta
your divorce
be
and-
stepwise and
Right.
natural. And again,
Right.
what you said, it's got to feel right. It's got to feel not fucking weird.
it's got to
Yeah.
be natural? Yeah.
Some people use that sympathy connection thing to get closer to you. I'm like, it wasn't warranted yet. I get opening
Dude.
up, but it wasn't. You went too hard, too quick.
Yeah,
Well,
everyone.
in the interview, I
Like
forget
my
if it
ex.
was. I
was
forget,
dry.
I forget if it was the first.
The dry heat.
It is the.
We have a vaudeville act. We
Yeah,
actually.
I saw that. I saw that.
It's called hot and cold. Call back.
If there was a whether it was your first Rogan interview or your second Rogan interview, you talked about how you were having trouble even just looking at him in the eyes.
Well, I can't do that with anybody. I
Right.
Like the mailman in the eye.
Got
Which-
fucking sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I know, and I feel like I I'm looking at them in general. I'm not really looking for your eyes, and I could just already imagine you like looking away. But you talk about in that episode that you were in a relationship for 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years?
How do you pull off 12 years when you don't look at each other?
A lot of reverse cowgirl, a lot of doggy style.
No one ever goes regular cowgirl. You ever realize that?
I guess that'd be the chick on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should call that cowgirl.
Yeah.
Why do we have names were cool when you were 14? You remember when you were like, dude, have you ever heard of
The Houdini. We were talking
Shrimping.
about this last night.
or the Houdini?
Yeah, you ever gone shrimping? There's always some name.
There's some name that you have to look up thanks to Urban Dictionary.
You ever
Yeah.
try anal? Like, yeah, we. No.
Yeah,
That's
right.
how you start,
Everyone
right?
knows what
That's how you stay a virgin.
That's not a name.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I grew up Pentecostal and
God's hole.
yeah, in Louisiana there's a
God's hole. That was the name of his church.
the butthole. The butthole is God's hole. Yeah, no, there was there was this trend where we'd see people at church would not do vaginal sex; they would do butt sex.
Yeah.
Vaginal sex is the is the worst phrase I've ever heard in my life. Vaginal sex?
I disagree.
Yeah.
You know what the worst phrase is? Worst two words ever to be put together is retarded ejaculation.
Ooh, I disagree. Those might be the best. That's a great punk band, by the way.
That was my first
Isn't
ever.
it 4 bass players?
Yeah, yeah.
My first ever open mic, I told the story of me going in for a consult, and my urologist was from Britain, and over there, delayed ejaculation they refer to as retarded ejaculation.
Because you retard the process.
Yes, it
I
puts it
see.
off, right? So, and sometimes when you have a vasectomy, you have trouble completing the show.
Oh, gotcha.
And-
I thought
and-
this when you ejaculate, you can't pronounce your R's.
Something like that. But yeah, so best two words ever put together. So
good
a
phrase.
couple things. We've got the 1975 Wild Turkey 8101. This is a great bottle. I got to open this with Senior Dolph Lundgren.
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that mind-blowing?
So I thought it would be cool. He loved it. I thought it would be a fun bottle.
You know, he has a PhD.
Yes.
Why do you know that?
No. He doesn't have a PhD. He's got a master's from.
Why do you know that?
He's got a master. Like I interviewed him. A master's
Oh, that's
from
true. All right.
MIT.
I feel very
He's a
stupid.
master's of chemical engineering, I think.
Because you think good-looking guy, muscular guy, action movie, you would
Sure.
never think this guy's a fucking scholar.
Yeah, he kind of got grouped into the dumb Sylvester Schwarzenegger
Sure.
shoot 'em ups.
Yeah, when you're like kind of a
Fuck that,
meatheady
don't
looking guy, people just assume that there's
There's nothing there.
We go back to where the stereotypes for not race or gender, but just silhouettes.
Yeah, we do it with everybody.
We don't look like. We don't go. Oh, scientist probably has muscles.
No,
Yeah,
you're right.
well, when you're in great shape and in your 60s, I think he's in his 60s.
Oh, sorry, dump
looks
glass.
great.
Which one's the dump
Oh,
glass?
he looks
again?
fantastic. 6'3". That's
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a hunk.
dude. His arms. My wife was there.
My wife.
And I was like,
Have to do
I
it.
don't want to put my arms next to him in a photo.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
The size of my legs, probably.
Dude,
probably
he's
bigger.
ridiculous. His forearms too. Jesus
Wow,
Christ.
still.
Yeah.
Rocky IV.
Well, he was just in Aquaman. I mean, he's
Really?
Yeah.
We talked about this last time. I was blown away when he told me this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
today in today's bourbon world, wild turkey's very well respected. Even now, even though it's like your college drinks, you know, everybody loves a good wild turkey.
Gotcha.
But '70s wild turkey goes for big money. It fluctuates on auction sites and stuff, but you can get them as high as $800.
Wow.
Some of the bigger bottles, $1,200. I mean, it get pretty crazy. But it was just really good bourbon back then. Not enough people
This
drink
tastes
it.
great. I'm kind of a visual guy, and I love like the label and the bottle and the whole presentation. It's so cool because if you look at the top font, like someone had to draw that.
Yeah. It looks like a stenciled.
You know, like now you go in Photoshop and everything's all like done for you.
It's
But
not
when
the
you-
original cork. The whole thing just is the first thing that when that fell apart,
Yeah.
the corks just eat away over time. So you've got these little time capsules
So cool looking. Man.
of
so cool
75. There was that 25 plus another 20.
It just feels personal. You know?
45 years in the bottle.
That's
little time
amazing.
capsule.
Wow,
That's
this is older than Star Wars.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
1975.
It is
Wow.
wild. It's on the label.
Turkey. Yeah.
Son of a, you're always in the. You guys are the
I
same
know.
person, just slightly different
Dude,
colors.
we talked about this last night because again I've said this before, comparisons and all this stuff, but I was like, I think it's just
Indian.
yeah.
going for the joke.
It's just the little zingers, just
Yeah.
always in the room.
Wordplay.
Have you thought about telling stories at all? I know
I've thought about it. I just don't have the courage. I don't have the attention span. I assume I have a 12-second joke, and I assume they're bored for those
Yeah.
12 seconds till the punchline hits. So
It's-
stories are tough.
Anytime there's silence, you're like, just, why?
Yeah.
We're not laughing.
Oh, we had Pauly Shore in too.
Ah,
Makes sense.
you just ruined it.
Sit in that chair. So don't worry, we sprayed it down.
All right.
He's a
But yeah,
right.
we were talking about that yesterday with storytelling comedians versus quick.
Yeah, and nothing against them. I'm jealous. I mean, I feel like stories connect and resonate with people more than jokes, maybe.
Well, as a father, I really associate with Bert in that way.
Yeah.
And
Great
because our
stories.
two oldest daughters are the same age, and then as a married man, I really like Tom and Christina. So you really kind of, and of course, before Louis got in trouble, that's what I think that's what made him, was this connection to a kind of a shitty father or a flippant father. You'd say something. That story he tells about how he was in Italy and he saw like a bunch of wild ponies.
Yes.
That's a funny.
It's the funniest goddamn story of all time. And you think, I'm the best father. Yes, you can touch it. And then it bites her and he's like, I'm the worst father. Like there's this panic that happens as a father. So I just am curious because you're so great at these zingers and these one-liners and these like quick-witted thoughts. If you've tried anything,
I've tried. I mean, I've done storytelling shows. I did 2 This Is Not Happenings, and even
before
preparing- What?
before after Ari?
Well, but one with Ari, one without.
Sure.
So I did black and white, and
How progressive.
I don't discrim. And it was hard preparing for that, just because I had to go to open mics or go to shows or like do the improv, and like the last 10 minutes would be the story, and you have to punch it up and find the ending. And if the ending isn't there, the whole thing's ruined.
There's got to be a button.
Yeah.
Got to be a button. Got to be a bow on it. So
And have you tried it elsewhere?
a little bit. I might try them this weekend because I'm so fresh out of material that maybe I'll bring a story out.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
I just assume
I've
they
done
hate
one in my life about my dad telling me that my grandmother died, and then 7 hours ago, and it was somebody else's grandma. I'm sorry, I mixed it up.
He mixed it up and
Yeah,
he
he
said that?
and I just thought my grandma was dead for like 8 hours, like a whole day.
Crying and...
And then, but the way he did it, he just came in. He goes, "I got it wrong, so I'm sorry." There was no like, I'm sorry. It was just like, continue on, and just fucking tears.
It's bittersweet because you're like, well, great, Nana's alive, but also you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, the whole day I was like, I'm gonna kill it. Just
Yeah.
so mad, but I'm just saying, like, out of
It makes you think it was a
done
joke.
one story the
Right.
whole time,
Yeah.
and I can't get. There's nothing interesting that's happened.
Sure.
Right.
Or maybe there
right.
is, and I just can't.
Yeah, I
Can't
feel the
find
same
the
way.
through line or the.
I opened for Bill Burr once, and we got pretty drunk after. And he's like, "You got to do stories. That's what it's all about. That's the connecting with the audience." And I was like, "All right, maybe if you say so, I'll do it." But
Did you see him in King of Staten Island?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
I heard he's
I've heard
great
it's-
in it.
But
Yeah,
the
it's amazing.
the introduction of Bill, I didn't know Bill was in it. But the opening scene, not the opening scene of the movie, but the first time you see Bill,
Yeah.
is the most Bill Burr scene you've ever seen. It's the most.
How do you fig?
Well, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about it. And Chase or
There's
Chance,
too many people in this movie.
Chance can shoot me an email, but essentially, I won't spoil it. But
All right.
there's Pete Davidson's a fuck up, and he experiments with tattooing a little kid, a stranger.
Oh.
Well, that kid's father comes knocking on his door, and it is the most Bill Burr moment I've ever seen.
he's
on
the
tape.
father.
He's the father, and
I
it is
see.
beautiful, beautiful Bill. Like, you know those comics that you know are just so legendary and genius, and then you'll see them. You know that. You already know it. But then you see them do a bit, or you see them in a 10-second clip in a movie, and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they're so prolific. And you're there. Do you know that you're being talked? Everyone we've had come in that knows you, that's been on the show, I've mentioned a bunch of their names. We've talked about who are the next prolific, and it's the same 3 every time.
Wow.
They never coordinate. They never talk. It's Tim Dillon.
Who's the
It's
third?
Andrew Schultz,
Oh yeah.
Tim Dillon, and Mark Norman.
Wow, I'm honored. Jeez.
I mean, I know.
Good company.
I know it's hard to It's hard to make that eye contact with them,
Oh,
but
yeah,
they love you. Like they love you.
This is all news to me.
And Brendan, we had dinner afterwards. I took him to a steakhouse, and we talked about you for 20 minutes. Mark,
What?
I'm telling you. Brian Callen too. Brian Callen said the same thing. You are so
Callen, he doesn't know my name.
well revered.
Wow,
you're
this
so
is-
well revered and so well respected.
all right,
That's
let's,
I'll
line 'em up.
I'll tone it down. I'll tone it
all
down.
right. Yeah, Tony, you're making me feel weird, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Put
but-
another pair of sunglasses on top.
yeah, exactly.
He pulls out a second pair.
Oh
Can
man,
you fucking stop. Thanks.
the whole thing's awkward. But no, it's nice to hear because it's a lot of hard work and yada yada yada. So it's good that it's paying off.
Well,
But
you have this material where you kind of sound like you're making it sound like you're struggling, but you're killing. Like you've got this approach where I'll do my best to not compliment you because I'm already
Please.
doing that. But I went back and watched. Comedy is an exercise. It takes time to shape. It takes time to get better at it. You see comedians who aren't as great now that end up killing it in a few years.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Burr was not as loved as he was.
Stage
10
name,
years
by the
ago.
way. Stage name.
Oh yeah, what is it?
William Burr.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't know
I knew that
that.
where it's going. Yeah,
Joke that
Will
everyone
Sasso.
hates.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
But
It's
everybody
okay.
gets better.
Yeah, everybody gets better.
But,
Louis C.K. wasn't that great in the '90s. He wasn't that well revered.
Yeah.
and
His
then
first
you
album
find
was in
your
Houston,
stride.
35
That's
minutes.
right.
Live
Was it
Houston.
really?
It's one of my favorite albums.
and he did that act for 10 years. He said
And he had a well, I guess you'd probably know because you guys.
he jerked off on me.
Yeah. Did he ask?
No, he had this.
He
He had
did.
this story that I love. That he said he was doing a Chinese restaurant gig, and heard an interview with Carlin on the radio, and he was having a sandwich in the car before he was about to go up, and heard the interview with Carlin, and Carlin said, if you're ever one of those comics that's just doing your act and there's no emotional like connection,
'Cause
and
you've been doing it so
you got an
long.
autopilot. And he goes, just fucking quit, basically. And he started crying in the car. And then he went up to the
Jeez.
Chinese restaurant and he goes, my kid's a fucking asshole. He just said that. And he goes, I got the most honest laugh I've ever got in my life. And the honest laugh is, laughs are laughs, but when you
Yeah.
get it like.
Changed him.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happened
that's
to Mo
when
Pickens,
the material shifted. And
Yeah.
then he became Louis.
Right.
And I
You
think that's
gotta
an awesome.
shed that bullshit.
Yeah.
You said that you found your stride at Mo Pickens.
Wow.
Right?
How do you know that?
Yeah.
That's
So-
some deep,
so-
dark stuff there.
You in New York, you've talked about it. You
I
said
probably
that
bombed for 2 years straight, and then I was on stage at this place, Mo Pickens, which is no longer there. Fallon used to be there all the time. It was like a hot, cool spot.
Sure.
James
And-
Fallon?
Yeah, and
stage name. It's actually Jimmy.
I got heckled immediately, and I just went off on the guy because I was so frustrated from being poor, being mugged, living in New York, having no respect, no money, whatever. And I just went off on the guy, and that was killing. And I felt like myself for the first time on stage, and after that, it was like a little easier.
You just found your stride.
What year did you, in your life, did you move to New York? Like, what age were you when you moved to
I think I was 22, 23, but I moved there in September of 07.
Yeah, and I think Mo Pickens was 09, right? Wasn't it early on? I think.
What, that it closed?
No, when you said you found that night you
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about.
it took a while. I mean, it was over a year and a half.
Well, I went back and listened to your 2014 special. Still got it, which is kind of funny because it's your first special.
That was the joke.
Yeah. And it was the same voice I hear now. It's fantastic.
Well, it's all in there. You know?
Yeah.
You just grow.
You get better and better. I mean, I couldn't be a bigger fan.
I wish
that
you
a
were
lot.
my dad.
I wish I had a dad.
Well,
We've told that story on here.
Oh, well, that's why you drink. But that's why YouTube is so great, because if you're really obsessed with comedy or MMA or drag racing or drag queens, there's a thing for everybody on YouTube. And
Yeah.
some nerd out there did like the evolution of Louis C.K., the evolution of Bill Burr, the evolution of whoever, and you can watch them in like 88, bombing, doing weird sound effects.
Crazy,
to
yeah.
94, where they're getting it a little bit, they're kind of finding their feet, and then 2018, and they're like geniuses. So it's kind of fun to watch that shit.
Chappelle, if you
I
watch
didn't know they did
Chappelle's
those.
JFL, it's there, but then you don't ever go like,
you got to hone it.
that's gonna be the goat.
Yeah.
You're talking like a 91 JFL, and then he becomes what?
Yeah.
Fucking 15 years later, he's a great scum, and then 30 years later, he's the great. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's
so you don't see the through line. I guess.
well, it's the only art form, or whatever you want to call it, where like if you watched a surgeon get better at being at a surgeon, but you watched every step. Surgery, just like, oh, this guy saved me. He's 50 years in as a surgeon.
Yeah.
He's a pro. But at some point, he was 2 days in, but you didn't film that.
Sure.
But we're filming the beginning shit.
Not to make a hard right turn, but this is from 1964. I've been.
What a transition!
I've a great
What
segue.
a transition! That was amazing.
1964. This will be our second to last one, and then I'll get you out of here. And real
get a
piece of
haircut.
history.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a haircut. Hair looks good.
It's killing me.
Really, it looks.
That's
I
too
like
long.
it.
It's too long.
It looks nice.
I put it together, but if it's when I wake up, I look like an old rabbi.
Sure.
Now, what is this? This is
No, I have
1964.
not poured it yet, but this is from 1964 Stillbrook.
Pre-civil
64.
rights.
This is a Beatles
Pre-civil,
whiskey.
well,
Yeah.
we're still pre-civil rights there, Mark.
Oh, thank you, Chappelle.
Didn't know we were on hot ones right now.
Here we go. There we go. Nice and light. Nothing
It's
too
a
crazy.
64. Can I see the bottle?
1964. Yeah. They were big into American. You
obsessed
see the
with
big
that.
stars and the.
Yeah, this is This what?
I have
Where
no
is
idea
this?
if this is any good, so we're about to find out.
I
This
mean,
is
it's just
from the-
cool to look at. I always
It
think of
is.
like how they advertised back then, how they did that because like someone had to paint it, someone had to literally do it. Now you just get on a computer and you type and it's done.
And it has to reflect the times. Like you always see these soda evolutions of soda, like
Yeah,
Coke, how it
yeah,
changes,
yeah.
the can changed over the years.
Yeah.
When was Vietnam?
65 through 70.
Yeah, this is the American
Three?
Distilling Company, right?
Wow.
So bottled
So
in
cool.
64, so right during that time period of
So
American
cool.
pride, you know?
Mhm.
Oh my god!
Might get back to that scent.
It's my mom.
What
That's
are you
insane.
It's
Jesus.
not that hot, is it?
No, it
Oh,
just
it's
smelled
hot.
like
the smell.
Like old?
The smell is.
Oh, it stings.
yeah, like it.
Smells burn?
Whew. It's like my ex.
That was interesting. Tastes like menthol, like mouthwash.
Oh, not
You
the
said-
best one. This was not my
This is
favorite.
more medical,
Medical.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Distilled
It
in
either feels
Illinois.
like it was used to cauterize someone, or a doctor went to a study and then had this.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it doesn't. This doesn't feel humble.
No, this is okay. It's not great.
This feels
it's
kind of like it's
chemically-
It's a little chemically. Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like it's kind of it's got a feather in the cap. It's too hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity. I feel like this is like in a jar at a barber shop, and they keep the combs in it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This
So-
is what you give a guy to shoot before you cut his leg off.
Oh.
You know?
But you're a big fan of peat and that medicinal notes, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite peated scotch? Is it Lefroy?
Well, I like
Lagavulin?
Lefroy. We drank that on a tour every night, and I got like hooked on it where I needed it. But I like a little knob Cree.
Oh, yeah?
Hold on.
That's how you get coronavirus.
Did it with my mouth. That was
Wow.
Yeah.
we have an act again.
That was a hungover fart. Even the fart was like, I'm out. I don't have the energy.
That's a medical
It
fart.
smells like tequila.
That's a Vietnam fart right
we
there.
had Sam Hewen on too from Stars. I just realized that.
Who?
That's our biggest episode. Sam Hewen, he's from Showtime or Stars.
I like it when your
Outlander?
biggest guy is someone that we're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't respect him. It's someone that
And then you're like, he's on Stars.
I like
Oh,
that you went
shit,
with
Stars.
respect.
Yeah.
You'd have to know him. Like you wouldn't respect.
He's someone that's very big in a female-driven audience. He's a great guy, really into whiskey. We're going to Scotland in August. I think he's going to be joining us.
Hot guy?
But he's this generation's Fabio. He's like very.
Oh, wow.
Chris, can I just say that's exactly the reaction you deserve for trying to name drop in the middle of a conversation?
Yeah.
He took a mic
Well,
up
it
for
just-
that.
it just hit me.
He's like, I gotta grab a mic. He's in it.
I wasn't trying to name drop, but he said medicinal. It
good.
made me think of Scotch. and
It's
then,
good.
Yeah. Okay.
We're on
sorry.
your show. You can do whatever
All
the fuck you want, man.
All
Don't
right.
listen to
Fuck this
don't
guy.
listen to this guy. Don't listen to us.
Yeah, this is not the best one.
Yeah. Go ahead. Dump it.
All right.
So
It's just that you know what this is. It's just too potent without. There's no flavor.
No
It's just
flavor.
it just feels very.
It's like Tabasco, which I love hot sauce, but I don't love Tabasco because
Tabasco's the worst fucking.
it's just hot. There's no flavor. Give me some Louisiana.
watery.
Give me some what is it? Carl's.
I
Not
love
Carl's.
Cholula.
Cholula. I love. Frank's I
Frank's is
like.
good.
Frank's is the go-to.
What's Tapatio? That's
Tapatio's solid.
fantastic.
There's a great hot sauce here. And I always try to shout them out anytime I'm on a thing. I didn't do it last time, but they're our friends, and it's called Bravado.
Bravado. Yeah.
Bravado.
They're on hot ones.
There's like 3. Yeah, they're on hot ones.
wow.
They're like selling out in every like freaking supermarket you go to. Like they're in
based in Houston. Yeah.
they're in like Nordstrom. now.
Wow.
high-end hot sauce.
Nordstrom.
Yeah, they're Damn, next time you come, I'll make sure to hit them up. And
Sure.
like we had come and take at the festival at Seeger Group. This Bravado always hooks it up, gives like all the headliners like their own like hot sauce
sauce thing?
packet. But it's great. They got like good flavors, and Bravado's like, yeah, I love them. They're
All
just,
right.
they're
Good
awesome.
plug.
That's it.
Love a hot sauce.
Not sponsors of the show.
as he
coyly-
smells. As he coyly
So that's
smells.
15-year-old Heaven Hill juice. That's
Which one was that?
I haven't poured you one yet.
You motherfucker.
Wait,
talking
this is-
about Bravado.
This is plastic bottle.
Yeah. So this
Yeah,
is,
that is weird.
This isn't out yet. So what we did is
Ooh, neither is I.
so we got our hands on some barrels of 15-year-old Heaven Hill juice. We're going to be releasing our own brand.
This is your shit?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a private label to support the show.
Holy crapola.
And we literally selected it today, right before I
Whoa.
picked you
Today?
up. Right before I picked you up. So
I
that's
love
why I
how
missed
we
that.
I
That's
love
why-
how we woke up Just
Yeah.
we're like, that's our first thing we did today. He's like, I selected a whole whiskey.
Sure. And I'm glad you told us it's yours before we trashed it.
That's why I missed those 2 exits on the way here. But we selected it. It's going to be
That's good stuff. Hurts the teeth.
it's cast strength. It's cast strength. Yeah.
Wow.
Not watered down at all.
Moonshiny.
So it's very, very strong.
So where'd you find these?
It coats the cup.
So we've got to double check on some naming rights on one of the old 1900 bottles. We're going to see if that trademark's available because that brand's not around anymore.
Oof.
And we'll release it, and it'll be at cast strength. Once you acclimate to drinking it like this all day, you don't even it doesn't.
I can't drink like this. You know what a freaking douche I feel like doing this?
Well, not the glass, but I mean,
Oh.
if you just drinking it neat,
Oh, I
without
get
water,
you. You're
without
saying-
ice,
gotcha.
yeah.
I feel like some ice would really top this off nicely.
You eventually your mouth gets used to it, and then you're
Okay.
like, this is great. Ice sucks.
Do you drink neat?
all the time?
Do you
Yeah,
drink
my
ice?
wife does
what,
too.
I like
cube?
ice.
I got
That's okay.
water in it.
I like
no-
the cut of the ice. It cuts it a little bit.
It chokes it too, so it helps with the burn.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
real. There's nothing
Gotcha.
wrong with ice. If you want to add ice to it, no shame. Speaking of which, tonight at the Improv, we'll be there. I'm bringing my wife. Yeah. We're
What-
coming to the early show.
What show?
Early show. There's 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah.
Do me a favor and quiz her after, because I'm offending too many people in my act now. Maybe I'm going darker or
Oh,
what?
My wife's not going to.
Okay, great.
Yeah. My wife, not a former actress. She and we ascribe to the belief, and this is what I think it comes down to, and I think you've already had this conversation, or it was Kyle Dunnigan and Rogan, but words are about intention.
Yeah, we
I
talked about
agree.
this last time.
That's what it was. Me and you talked about it. If you're being silly, you like to do this thing where you mess up sayings and throw the word queef or shit
Yeah.
or rape or finger
Anal.
bang. Yeah, anal.
Jews.
Yeah.
Semen.
I'm clearly joking.
Yeah, of course.
If it's not funny, it's not funny. But and my wife and I, we are on the same page on every. She drinks whiskey. She drinks more than I do. She drinks it neat. When it comes to comedy shows, you couldn't get even if you went up there and tried your hardest. We couldn't get not to encourage you to do it.
Your
but-
wife's ugly. What are you upset about?
Chris said you're not gonna get it. You're
Yeah.
you're a bitch.
Right.
No, but I'll ask her, but I don't.
Okay, I don't. See, that's the thing is I don't want to offend. I'm not trying to be some shock jockey guy. I just do what I think is funny, and then people get upset. And it's true. It is about the intent. But even if you say like if you go, hey, merci beaucoup, and I go, oh, I didn't know you spoke Spanish, and people
Right.
are like, that's French. I'm like, I know, I'm joking. It's a joke.
Yeah.
You retard. You know, like.
There's always someone like on your Facebook that or like for me like doing jokes that they come out and they tell you the joke on the comments. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's
the
why
joke.
I posted it.
Exactly. Otherwise, I
They
wouldn't
don't-
say it.
But they don't get the connection.
It went right over their head.
And then they
Yeah.
never cop to it. They never go, oh, I see. They just
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
oh, you suck, fuck you, whatever.
And I hate to beat this to death, but I asked Shab this. You actually still handle all your social media, right?
Unfortunately.
Really?
Does that eat away at you?
It eats away. It's so time consuming. I mean, I spend hours a day doing it, and I want to control it because I'm scared of what some dweeb will do with it, And
Yeah.
also, you want it to be somewhat
I'll
quality.
do it.
all right,
Yeah.
great. You're Indian. Handle my IT. But it's a lot of work.
It's something that anytime you put yourself out there, especially with your zingers, I would imagine that it's got to eat away at you a bit when someone is just so upset
Yeah.
by something you said.
Well, intent is harder to catch over writing, I think.
Through Twitter.
But
Have you thought about giving up Twitter?
I've thought about it many times. Because my friends gave it up. I'm not going to say who, but they're like, life is better. I'm happier. I'm thinking clearer. And I'm like, damn, maybe I will. But I also get a lot out of it. I get a good zinger. And if it gets a lot of retweets, I'll bring it on stage.
Yeah.
So I like it.
It feels like that's.
But it is a cesspool of hate. It's a cesspool, man. That for some reason, I don't know what it is about Twitter.
Finally getting around to smelling your fart. Jesus.
Oh,
Christ.
wow. It just hit,
It just
my
hit
fart
me.
hit you over the
you
wild
bottle
turkey.
it?
Yeah. Just hit me this way.
But yeah, like Instagram, it's like a lot of fun. Facebook's old people and religious quotes usually, but something about Twitter, man, they go for the jugular.
Well, that's where all the righteousness comes from. That's where all the virtue. I mean, I hate to say virtue signaling, but that's where everyone's getting got.
Why is
Right.
it there though? What do you think it is about?
There
Twitter?
are jokes that I'll put on Facebook. And I'm like, I shouldn't put that on Twitter.
Yeah, why though? What is it? It's just a different platform.
I feel like most people are looking at Twitter. My Facebook's private. My Instagram's public. Facebook is like, it's Facebook. It's my people I know.
But Twitter's as public as public gets.
Twitter is the most
Right.
Yeah, Twitter's the most.
Interesting.
Twitter's your loudest friend.
right.
You're like, shut the
right.
fuck up, man.
All right, that makes sense.
Instagram is the photos and look at this shit.
With Twitter,
Yeah.
I can not only see when you comment, even if I'm not following, let's say I'm not following Tom Segura and you comment on something, because I'm
see it.
following you, I see it.
That's what it is.
If you like something, even if you don't comment, it shows up in my feed.
Oh, is that right?
I can see that you liked something because I'm following you.
Wow.
So I think the problem with Twitter is that if someone who hates you sees you comment something or virtue signals, and then they can just come in and say, oh yeah, because that's what happened during this whole, whatever that woman was from one of those Fox shows. She said something about how Black Lives Matter was important, and then an ex-coworker that she worked with who is black said, oh yeah, well then it's funny because 10 years ago when I was on the set of Glee, you said you wanted to shit in my wig or
That's
something.
crazy. I didn't know they hired black people on Glee.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So
yeah.
there was just this moment where, and then everyone just consumed her.
they
Just
get on
consumed
top.
her.
But
So-
also making fun of someone on Glee has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. They don't even connect.
No, what it was is that you're trying to virtue signal and let your followers know that you support Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter.
but it's all full
But
of
when we
shit.
worked together, I was black and you talked about shitting in my wig, which
okay.
was perceived as racist. So
I know, but that could be not racist.
I agreed.
Shit in a white man's wig. Does that mean but
a couple years on
What's
the
a white man wig? They got to be like an old, like a court justice.
yeah, that's true,
I don't know if
right?
that
Or a
helps.
politician.
Well, you
Powdered
guys
wigs.
are. I know we pretty much run out of time. I know you guys are going tonight. Houston Improv 2 shows. You're doing Sunday 2.
Oh yeah, God's hole.
improvtx.com/Houston. And Zahed, you got any dates coming up?
This is it for now. I do have some dates coming up. Just go to, I hate to say, like, go to the website. No one
Go to
goes
the
my
website.
Say your
but,
website.
What's wrong with that?
It's just my full name.
Okay.
No
What's
one
your
has
full
my
name?
It's Zahed Devji. No one has my shitty name. No one wants it.
ZahedDevG.com.
Good luck with that one on Google.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to autofill that with.
Why is everything in a Islamic?
Xanax, Delta. By the way, we're not going to address this phallic,
Oh, yeah,
we never-
silver dong here.
Okay, we'll have one more. We'll have one more. My only problem is when I took it off, the cork dissolved, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
give you a
It's
cup.
the fucking weirdest one.
I know.
I'm glad you.
Yes, this should be the gay porn award. Like if you get like an AVN.
It's like an Emmy. with,
Yeah.
the guy
It's
with,
a 12-year-old Ezra Brooks, but the cork
What's he?
dissolved.
What is he doing on the?
He's loving that big hog. He's even sitting on a pile of jizzy balls.
What is
Look at
this
that.
bottle?
We can't use this one for
You
radio.
got to remember that. You got to remember someone drew this, and then it had to go through a board of approval, and
And
everyone's
then
like,
someone had
"This
to give
is
some
great."
examples, or
Yeah.
like that one. Are you trying to pull a Little Mermaid and slip something in here? What's happening here? So, all right, I'll give you one more pour. It
right.
may have some pulp in it, so you just have to work out the
Yeah,
cork.
whatever.
Cork pulp.
Some cork pulp. But this is from, I believe it said 1970.
Whoa,
I got
it's dark.
most of it out,
It's dark.
and it is not strong, so this should not.
It's not.
It should not knock you off your. Yeah, back then, nobody would.
dark
It's 90 proof, and it's from 1970. Nobody would buy bourbon. It was such a slow mover, so they had to.
In the
put it-
70s?
70s, 80s, early 90s. So what they would do is they made decanters out of everything because it was collectible now. So people would collect it instead of drinking it. Same end result. We have sales. You bought it. But essentially, you had
But they bought it for the bottle, not for the
not for the
thing
juice inside. Yeah, and now when you can
comics
find,
right now.
when you can when you can find these things at auction or whatever, they're fantastic little piece of history. 1970, 50 years ago.
Cool. Very cool looking
80s.
bottle.
I don't know if I poured myself some. But
Ezra Brooks.
Ezra Brooks, 12-year-old.
12-year-old, not of age.
I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do
All
it.
right,
Not
all
gonna
right,
do
all
it.
right. Keep moving.
I mean, I don't care. You can do it. But yeah.
Is this considered good stuff, or are we just enjoying the bottle?
This is considered good stuff. Although I haven't tasted it, so let me give you a firsthand
That was
opinion.
That was a rough smell.
I like it.
Oh yeah, that's an easy drinker, and it's cut down to 90 proof. You can drink the hell out of that all day. You can knock that back.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy drinking. Some might say smooth, but that's a bad word.
That's honestly, I want the ice.
Yeah, this
This
could use
one I
a
want
cube.
the- yeah.
One of those big fat,
No, I love those
squares.
circle. I
Or
love
the
that.
square-
I love that.
circles are fun.
I love those. Yeah, those.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
the big
sphere.
balls.
Yeah, that's good.
2 questions, and we can go. When's your next? Are you going to do another special? I love
Well,
this
I
one.
mean-
I watched this one. It was great. Are we talking a year from now?
Yeah, give me 2 years.
2
'cause
years?
Some people force them out, and they're half baked, and we're like, if you give them that 6 more months, that'd be a full preemie.
It'd be a better one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Bert. I liked his last one, Secret Time, better than this one. I felt like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But that Starbucks bit was
Oh, it's fantastic.
killer.
Yeah, that
Keep hearing
was
about this.
You got to watch it.
I
It's
haven't
like a
watched it.
10-minute bit about Starbucks, and it's
about him
killer.
bonding with a young kid that's a fan
wow.
of his. So he would go in every day, and his Starbucks bit was great. Tom Segura's special was off the charts, fantastic, and I still enjoyed Chappelle's.
I'm waiting on one
Yeah.
from List.
I watched it.
I saw him come to Secret Group and
Shoot.
it was killer.
It's great. It's great.
The hour with
Joe List.
is killer.
Yeah,
killer
Tuesdays
hour.
with Stories. Definitely check out the podcast that Mark Norman and Joe List are on.
Here, here.
Tuesday with Stories. Thank you for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it so much.
Comedy.
Cheers.
Balcones' first ever year-round bourbon was an inspiration. It all had to work together. A blend of carefully selected ingredients, Texas-sized pot stills, and creative people determined to find the absolute best way to usher a new whiskey along. When you discover how it pairs with a meaningful moment, suddenly the feeling of drinking great whiskey becomes a whole lot more.